Okay, so we're going to have a go at using masks to change the colour of and apply video effects by changing the colour of certain elements within the video. So this is a little preview of what we're going to produce. Okay, so first of all we need to create a new project. So if you go to File, New Project. Okay, so we've got the asset we're going to use, which is the video. So we'll import that into the project panel as we've done previously. So if you right click and import file and then navigate to where the asset is, so it's called River and it's an MP4 video file, so if you double click on that to import it in. Now what we want to do, we want to create a new composition, and we want the new composition to have the same dimensions as our video. So one good way of doing that is to just drag the video clip down to this icon here, which is the composition settings icon, and then it will apply the settings of the video to the settings of the composition so they match. Okay, so the next thing to do is to create our mask. So I'm just going to zoom out a bit. So if you hold down Control and with the mouse wheel zoom out. Okay, so when creating the mask, just before you start, we're going to draw the mask using a pen tool, but before you start to do that, just be sure you click on the layer, and that will set the pen to mask creation. Otherwise, you'll actually be drawing. Using it to do a conventional drawing over the top of the video, which we don't want. We want to create the mask. So just make sure you click on the actual layer, and then we're going to click and we're going to draw our mask manually. So remember, it's the C that we are interested in altering. So we're drawing around the C, and we're going to mask off everything else. Okay, and you'll see once we close the line there, create the closed shape, it masks off everything else, and we're just focused on the C. Okay, so if we now go down to the layer here and expand it, okay, and you will see under there the two settings, mask and transform. If you expand the masks setting, you'll see it says mask 1, and then if you go over to effects and presets on the right hand side, and we're going to search for a effect called tritone, so you can easily search for effects in here. Okay, we found tritone here, so it's appeared, and then we can actually just literally click on that particular effect and drag it over our mask, and it will apply that effect to the unmasked area. Okay, so now we want to apply an effect. So you can see that the colour has already changed when we applied the tritone effect, but we can control the colour that is applied. So we've got, if we go over to effect controls here, you can see the different colour settings here. We can also go down to the layer panel here, expand, so where it says effects, expand that, expand tritone, and you'll see again those same colour effects here. But what we want to do is we want to just apply this to the area that's unmasked. So to make sure that happens, if we click on the plus symbol here, and you will see that that's we can see the area outside the mask, and we can see the effect has just been applied to the area that's unmasked. So now if we click on the midtones setting, okay, and then we can choose a colour. So you can have a play around there. I'm going to go for a red, but choose whichever colour you want. You want a kind of slightly alien looking C. We'll apply that. Okay, now the other thing we can do is we can actually feather this selected area so it merges with the rest of the video more effectively. So if you go back to where it says mask 1, okay, now you'll see it says effects mask 1. If we expand that, Okay, and you'll see that there are a series of other mask effects we can apply here. So we've got mask feather, so I'm just going to change mask feather to 5. Okay, and that will just literally feather the edges of the mask, so the kind of the masked and unmasked areas blend. Okay, now if we want to see how it looks with and without the mask, we can go up to Effect Controls on the left here, and you see where it says Effects here. You can click on that to show and hide the effect. And importantly, now what we can actually do is we can test the video, play the video, and watch it with this effect applied. So if you press spacebar, you will see our video playing with the mask applied. Okay, so it's just rendering there. Okay, so we're going to apply a second mask now, just to give you some practice of using the pen tool as well to create them. So if we just compress all the settings that we've just used. Yep, so we're going to apply a second mask to the mountains in the distance here. So once you've compressed the options underneath the river layer here, if you then select the pen tool, you'll see that again, be careful not to try and draw the mask straight away. You then need to be sure to click on the layer, and that will set it to draw a mask. Zoom in on the mountain area, so control mouse wheel zoom, and then you can start to draw around this mountainous area. So where this is useful, it gives you a chance to experiment with using the pen tool to draw curves as well. Don't worry about being too precise at this stage. So it's just a general outline of the mountains. A bit of practice at drawing with curves. Okay, so we've completed our mask, and you can see it immediately masks off the areas. Remember, you can adjust anchor points by just mousing over them, clicking on them once you've drawn them and moving them. Okay, now we want to apply that tritone effect again. So if we go over to the Effects and Presets panel again, and we can actually click on tritone and drag it across to Effect Controls to apply that effect a second time to a separate mask. Okay, and we can see those familiar tritone settings there, the different tones, shadows and highlights. Now we can also access those by going back down to the layer panel. Okay, and if we expand the effects section here, you will see now we've got the first tritone we applied here, but we've got a tritone 2, which we're interested in now. And again, if you remember, the same as last time, we want to select where we, make it clear where we want to apply those effects. So if we click on the plus symbol here, and then you see we've got the drop down here. Now we've got mask 1, which is the old mask. We don't want to apply these effects to that, so we want to select on the drop down and select mask 2. Make it clear that's where we're applying the effect. And again, we can click on the midtones here, as we did with the sea, and we can select a specific colour for the mountains. But we can perhaps zoom out first before we do that. So if we can control the mouse wheel, we can maybe see it in relation to the rest of the scene a bit better. Okay, click on that again, and then we can select our colour. Maybe for kind of an orange. Okay, and then apply that one. And again, we can apply the feather settings if we wish. To do that, we can go back up to masks here, expand that, expand mask 2 effects, and we can control the feather for the mountains too if we want. Okay, and then we can compress back all the expanded settings for the layer. We can fit our composition in the window here by clicking on the drop down here and fit, and then if we press spacebar we can see the video with the 2 masks applied. Okay, and that's how you use masks and apply them to video.